As the remainder of the PSL 6 action moves to the UAE, teams will rethink their combinations. The UAE is generally renowned for its sluggish surfaces, and spinners fare better in this part of the world. PSL bowlers have prospered more in the Emirates as opposed to the matches they have played in Pakistan. Bowlers in the UAE have managed to keep the screws tightened on the flow of runs, as indicated by their greater dot ball percentages and miserly economy rates. In particular, there is a stark contrast as to how the spinners have performed in the two countries. A glimpse of the overall breakdown of batting against pace and spin in the two countries further proves that slower bowlers have commonly kept things fairly under control in the UAE. The worst strike rate and balls per boundary rate for PSL batsmen are when they have to deal with spin bowling in the UAE. To explore how much better spinners have fared in the Emirates than the pacemen, we analysed two different innings phases, power play and middle overs, discreetly. The spinners performed nearly identically in the two phases in UAE, playing different sorts of roles for the team according to the game situations. Often they are introduced at the start of an innings as an attacking option or called upon during the middle overs to curb the scoring rate and exert pressure on the opposition. To add to the significance of spin bowling options in the UAE, past data has shown that PSL captains tend to turn to their spinners in the power play and middle over phases more in the UAE than in Pakistan. Spinners bowl more than half of the deliveries in the middle overs of the PSL matches conducted in the UAE. The relative ineffectiveness in Pakistan is one factor that their services are not acquired as much during the middle overs phase in Pakistan. Moving on, if we study the phase-wise bowling breakdowns of the UAE and Pakistan, regardless of the bowling type, the difference seems more pronounced than ever. Bowling average, batting strike rate, and economy rate are better across all three phases of the PSL games held in the UAE than those played in Pakistan. A sneak peek into the bowling breakdowns of PSL franchises also shows that teams generally do better with the ball on UAE decks, which are traditionally more welcoming for the bowlers. The economy rates progressively improve for all teams in the UAE, and the bowling averages also fall in most cases. We may come across unprecedented changes in the playing 11s in the Abu Dhabi leg of PSL 6, as the teams will strive to use the slower surfaces on offer. As indicated by past data, the remainder of the competition will majorly depend on how the teams bowl and handle spin. This could be the defining point as the 6 franchises gear up to grapple for the silverware.